Kabawain tapi
Indonesia, the biggest archipelagic country on Earth. Made up of thousands of volcanic islands, best known for beaches, volcanoes, Komodo dragons, orangutans, sheltering elephants, and tigers. The mega biodiverse country is inhabited by 20,000 different kinds of herbs and plants. Also a place where you can find more than 10,000 kinds of animals roaming the land. Indonesia is homeland to hundreds of ethnic groups speaking as many as 650 different languages. Differences is our motto, made us strong by one vision of the country. Formerly part of University of Indonesia, in 1963, IPB University was stood as the first independent campus to focus on agriculture. Located in Bogor, West Java, IPB University brings strong vision as a leading international university focusing on agriculture, marine, and biosciences. There are 11 faculties and schools, comprises 39 undergraduate study programs, 65 master study programs, and 42 doctoral study programs. There are 27 internationally accredited study programs in IPB University as a proof of our commitment as a world-class university. IPB University, through its performance, able to craft achievements and acknowledged as the most innovative state university in Indonesia. In promoting students' quality outside the class, student club and societies are places for students of the same interests and hobbies to meet and share.
Welcome to IPB University. We are very pleased to welcome all of you to the 20th International Student Summit in Bogor.
Sumatra, a sign of God's love given with full affection, a piece of heaven attached to the earth, home of the world's largest ancient volcanic lake, that holds 1,000 legends and mysteries. A land for diverse cultural conformity where civilizations live in harmony. A place of dignified tolerance where the seeds of hope are planted, grown, and reaped for prosperity. The genuine miniature of Indonesia.
By declaring the tagline transformation towards the ultimate, Universitas Sumatera Utara is ready to transform into an international standards university with excellent local characteristics. I am Murianto Amin, presenting you Universitas Sumatera Utara.
Starting from Universitas Sumatera Utara Foundation, which collected moral and material support from the people of North Sumatra and Aceh. On August 20th, 1952, the Faculty of Medicine was successfully established. USU was inaugurated as the seventh state university in Indonesia by the first president of the Republic of Indonesia, Sukarno, on November 20th, 1957. Located in Medan City, North Sumatra, USU consists of two campuses located in Jalan Dr. Mansur and Kuala Bekalah. USU has 15 faculties, one graduate school with 163 study programs, and one experimental garden covering an area of 300 hectares located in the Tamunan area, Langkat Regency. USU has the vision of becoming a university that has academic excellence as a barometer of scientific advancement that can contend in the global world. Carrying the new spirit, transformation towards the ultimate supports the entire USU academic community to make significant changes to their mindset and work culture per the demands of bureaucratic reform and technological acceleration. Transformation towards the ultimate is indicated by a series of transformations in various sectors. The transformation is realized through collaboration and synergy between the academic community and various parties to create excellent higher education services implemented through Tree Dharma. Campus digitization is an absolute must. USU has received an A accreditation and is included in Cluster 1 of the Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture 2020 rankings and ranked 15th university in Indonesia by the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings. USU has also established itself as a part of the international education community. USU is ranked first nationally and ranked 305th in the world in the field of agriculture and biological science at the university level by the Skimago Institutions rankings. In addition, USU is ranked 1201 plus in the world, with QS Stars 3 on the Park-Parelli Simmons World University Rankings 2022 rating agency. As a commercial university, USU is committed to encouraging research to create an USU enterprise by establishing the Institute of Innovation and Business Technology Incubation, or LINKS. LINKS is a place for innovation and research products of USU's academic community to make contributions to society. Some of these innovative products are being prepared for mass production by cooperating with the industrial world and other universities as the implementation of the Merdeka Belajar Campus Merdeka program. Merdeka Belajar Campus Merdeka program is a manifestation of learning by combining theoretical and practical aspects to create excellent human resources. USU collaborates with various partners, from the state-owned company to the government sector, with the aim of creating graduates who are ready and able to follow the needs of the industry and the market. To support comprehensive learning, USU provides integrated facilities. Various facilities available include USU Hospital, Dental and Oral Hospital, Integrated Laboratory, Student Workshop, Auditorium, Student Center, Pancasila Building, International Guest House, Cafeteria, Student Dormitory, Garden, and various sports facilities.
The the spirit of transformation towards the ultimate within the scope of the Dharma is a manifestation of Usu's commitment to produce excellent human resources for the advance of Indonesia.
USU believes that the contribution of all parties is the main key in the effort to transform to be superior. USU, the pride of North Sumatra for Indonesia, transforming to be the best in the world.
Okay, committee. I think Dr. Auchara Kayan is already joined with us in a Zoom room. Good afternoon or probably good morning in Thailand, Dr. Ann. So we call you Ann or Dr. Auchara? Yeah, it's better to call you Ann. Ann. Your voice is still not clearly, Dr. Ann. There is still no sound, committee. What's wrong with this? We still cannot hear a voice from Dr. Ann. Ann or Okay. Dr. Ann, could you say hello to us? So, because previously the voice not so clearly for us. Can you say hello before we start?
Hello. Did you hear me?
Okay, good.
Is this
But there's still a delay on the voice, on the sound. So we start, Dr. Ann? So is it okay? I call you Dr. Ann, yeah?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Let me
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Welcome back again to our next lectures. Yeah, the next lectures will be presented by Dr. Auchara Kayan, or we can call her Dr. Ann. Yeah, it is quite simple for us, especially when we're in discussion session. Yeah, so we can call her Dr. Ann. So, Dr. Ann, you will have maximum 35 minutes per presentation, and then continue with discussion, yeah, around 15 minutes.
Okay, I will try to finish in the time.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, everyone, before we let me allow me to show screens.
Okay.
Yeah, for a short CV. Probably I think this is from a previous summer course. Is it still okay? Yeah?
It's okay. It's okay. It's serious.
Oops. Share screen. I cannot share the screen, the committee. What's wrong with this? Okay, good. Everyone can see the screen? Not yet. Okay. Oops. Participant cannot now see your application. How about now?
Yes,
Okay, yeah. Again, our next lecture will be presented by Associate Professor from Department of Animal Science, Faculty of Agriculture, Kaset Sat University Bangkok, Dr. Auchara Kayan, Dr. N, yeah. And then he's holds bachelor and master degrees from Simla University, from Chiang Mai University, Thailand, and then hold a doctoral degrees from University of Bonn, Germany, with the main topic of molecular genetics and animal breeding. Yeah, and then her main interest topic of her research in meat and food science, and also animal molecular genetics. And then this is several latest publication of her related to her expertises. Yeah. Okay, so everyone who interested with this topic can try to Googling, yeah, the publication of Dr. Ann. Okay. Okay, yeah. Please, everyone, turn on the video and also unmute the audio until we're asking to do so. Yeah. During discussion session, you can unmute the audio, and then please write down the question on the chat rooms, or you can ask to Dr. Ann directly in the end of the session or during the discussion session. Dr. Ann, because I'm not yet have a presentation of you, so you have to present it by yourself. Yeah, is it okay for you?
Okay, I can do it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ann. Okay, Dr. Ann, time is yours, please.
Okay, now I share the screen of my slides that I prepared to presentations for this year.
Okay. Everyone can see the slides. Oh, so tempting. It's always nice to see your presentation, Dr. Ann. Always with the product.
Okay, according to consider in this topic, because if we see, let me find some pointer. Okay, because if we see the world record that for the animals product and consumptions in 2020s, broilers or chickens is high in production and consumptions between when compared with swine, beef, or veals. So that's why I interesting very much, and it have the problems about white stripping in the industry now. For the world productions of broilers, when we see in the graph, is increasing every years. In every years might be according to the increasing of the people around the world, and might be some problem with others species of the livestock for swine that they face with the problem with the African swine fevers that happens around the world. So the productions of the broilers growing according to the demands of the consumer. And for this figure also represent in Thailand. We also can share the values and the quantities of the world. We around the third ranking of the values by country, and also in the fifth to share the quantities that divide by country. That's why we quite concentrations with the production that we export to around the world to the qualities. And in Thailand, bird flu outbreak in Thailand around the years 2004. We dropped on the productions and consumption because we kill a lot of bird that we detect that that indicate that is bird flu. So after that, after we after the outbreak, we can solve this problem as well. For the spread of bird flu, we try to increase the productions for export to many countries. For example, in Europeans or in the country that is Muslim country. And also we for the consumptions in Thailand also not increase too much because every year because of our countries can eat every species of the livestock like chickens and pig and beef. And for the chickens, for boilers, almost the farmer that feed the boilers prefer to export to the other countries. And in Thai, some people also famous to eat Thai native chickens. In this one is this figure. This figure was show about the value that we export the chicken products in the two types of chickens. First is the chilled chickens. The second is the frozen chicken that might be have the step for processing before export to another country. In the poultry farm in Thailand, we have two systems, conventional system and evaporative cooling system, farming system in Thailand. And for the conventional system, people prefer to use this system for Thai native chickens. And for the evaporative cooling system, almost used for boiler chickens. This is quite separate. For the poultry breeding in Thailand, we have Thai native chickens. Here we just give some of breed in Thailand, Chi and Padu Hang Dam. This also represent the meat represent as the meat type chicken that quite soft, more chewy and less fat when we compare to the crossbreed or purebred from another countries. For purebred chickens in our country, we have white Plymouth Rocks, Cornish, New Hampshires, and for the crossbreed, we have broiler chickens that for the commercial use for such, for example, Aberacres, Roscoff, Hobbar. This make this type of the broiler will increase rapidly to increase in ADG and decrease in the FCR and have a large of body size that's suitable for export to another country. Okay. In the breeding, for the poultry breeding now, for about 40 years ago or 20 years ago, it spent quite a long time for achieve 2 or 3 kilograms of the market weight, and now we spend a time about 29. We take times about 35 days to get 2 or 3 kilograms of the market weight. When we want to export like to Europeans, we have to increase in the weight of the chickens. Like some country that prefer the big size of the bread meat. So we have to increase the weight of the farmer that prefer to feed chickens as the native chickens. It's quite take a long time to get the market weight. The market weight for native chickens around 2 or 2.5 kilograms, and take time about 4 months for slaughters. For the broiler is take time about 35 or 42 days to get 2 and 3 of live weight, 2 kilograms of live weight, and then it will be slaughtered. So it take short time when we compare with the native chickens. After we feeding them is to coming to the step of slaughter. In Thailand, we have control all process as to the EU regulation that quite considers about the animal welfare with the chickens, the animals, or animals aim to minimize to pain before slaughter, and every step controlled by DLD organizations of Thailand. For the slaughter technologies, we also using the method for handlings of the live animal immediately prior to slaughter. The method of stunning, killing in the early postmortems and carcass treatment. So the chickens come and stunning with the electric stunning. Let's see the process. The animal should be fasting about 12 hours and handings, and also come to electrical stunnings at the head here, and breathings and scouting, and then come to the pluckings, take the feathers out, and come to the step eviscerations. Some of big processing will use use a machine for to take intestinal organ out. Some processing pan will use the human to take it out, and then it will come to the step of cooling. For the step of coolings, if we export to EU, some slaughtering pan will have to decrease the temperatures of the chickens less than 4 degrees Celsius in 1 hour. So when finished to the evisceration step, it will come to the cooling, and it have a two tank. The first tank is control the temperature less than 16 degrees Celsius, and the second tank the temperature less than 4 degrees Celsius, and then control the temperatures of the carcass to get the internal temperatures at 4 or 7 degrees Celsius in 1 hour. Come to the dressings, and then all the chickens come to the dressings and dissected, and then packagings and storage. some step of the slaughtering plant will send some part for the processing plant for making in another products of the processing meat product. So that's why now if we want to export meat to the other country, it's have the problem like in Europeans or America is they prefer the big size of bread meat. So that's why the problem now is we detect the defects in the meat like white strippings, and it will make the consumer rejects this type of the product when they sell in the fresh meat. So our company in Thailand, they try to solve this problem. They try to classify into the level, in each level of this white stripping, and then they go to the step of take the meat to the processing in another form of meat product, like to make a nugget that the consumer could not detect the defects of the meat. Okay, and now let me see. It's happened around the world. It's happened around the world with the white stripping in the chicken. And when we look back in the native chickens of Thailand, native chicken is called clothed, quiet. We say slow clothing type of chicken. They did not have this defect on the meat. Okay, and some of the research, they debate about these problems. It come from the feed. It come from the genetic breed that we try to improve them to fast growing rate to reach the market weight. Okay, that's why they try to take the sample and to use the molecular technology to solve these problems. For the molecular technique, if we see many research, they try to use like a RNA for solve these problems, and some of research group, they will use the RNA sequencing and also the proteins like proteins expression to detect these defects. As we know that the proteins studies, they have many types of protein study that they might be select on the groups of normals and the groups of have the defects of white strippings. To isolate in proteins, they will study into detail to make a Manditov or extract the proteins, and then to make a liquid chromatography and proteins arrays like this to get more information about these problems. And for the whole genome sequencing, they're using DNA, extract DNA, and to take the DNAs to purify DNA and send the DNAs of the animal to the library and then sequencing to make a groups of DNA and classify the genes that might be effects on these defects. And for the RNA sequencing, also the same similar way to quantify these problems. For RNA sequencing, they will use the sample to isolate RNA and sequencing and make a group of upstream, downstream, and make a group of genes that might be some effects of the white stripping via some of metabolisms. So before we will see the effects of white stripping, we will see the muscle structures. The muscle structures that we see here, almost the muscle when we cross sections, we will see in the histologies, we will see the areas of muscle fibers that surrounding with endomysiums, and many of muscle will groupings and it will surrounding with perimysium. We call muscle bundle, and many muscle bundles will groupings and come into the big size of the muscle. It will be surrounding with epimysiums that we call might be a big part of the muscle. Like breast is a big part of muscle that includes all the things that I said. Okay, in the muscle, when the animals have the growth wings every day, is have the step of the muscle synthesis that we call muscle synthesis. The animal that are high in the growth rate is might be high the rate of muscle synthesis and less of muscle degradation rate. So when we consider for the rate of muscle growth, we should see the rate of muscle synthesis and degradations too. Muscle synthesis is starting as the granulation state at the state of basosis formations into two terms of layer, mesoderm, endoderm, and ectoderms. And for the skeleton muscles is developed from the mesoderm. Okay, and for the muscle degradations will happen every step of when the animal is still alive. They have been reported they may cause many reasons that will cause of muscle degenerations. For example, the loss of the nerve and blood supply. And the next one is the developmentals of the defects. Some they have the cause of degeneration by the deficiencies of vitamin E and selenium. And in the research, they found that the muscle degenerations were found in cell edema and hyaline degenerations. This is the step that will happen the muscle degenerations. And here is the study of the Kuttapat et al. 2012 that they classify the white stripping in four levels. Level 0 is mean the normal, And level 1 is will have some of white line here. Might be less than 0.1 millimeter, something like this. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the wide of the white stripping line. But if you see level 0, 1, 2, 3, you can see that the white stripping at the level 1, 0, no white straight line on the meat, and level 1 you have see some part here, the upper here, and the level 2 is become thicker and is have more area than level 1. And for the third level is more thicker of white line here, and it's covered all around the meat. That's why all the people reject this type of meat. Some of companies, just to share you, some of company they sell in the pack and they did not take the skin out, try to cover what is inside when they sell us in our areas. And some paper will divide into like a normal, moderate, and severe. It depends on you what criteria you will using to classify in your experiments. And the white stripping is they say the white stripping is a condition that could reduce the consumer acceptance and purchase intent for boneless, skinless, boiler bred fillets. And the conditions is characterized by white striations seen parallel to the directions of muscle fiber in boiler bred fillet, and they can be qualified severity. White stripping is associated with heavier body weight or enhanced growth rate in bird. That means heavy and high in growth rate is not good for produced in boilers. For Kutaphat, it's also report that occur of severe degrees of white stripping is associated with the higher fat content in boiler bred fillet, and it's at the same strain feed with same diet formulation. That's why we have to consider, because it's also high in the fat contents. The occurrence of white strippings on boiler bred fillets was due to the condition like a hereditary muscular dystrophies, and also nutritional myopathy due to the deficiencies of vitamin E and associated to the nutrients. And white stripping can be a major problem, especially when the raw fillets are marketed as we put the meat into the trays, and it will be rejected by the consumers. And white stripping could result in the change in the nutrition value of a meat product that I will show you in the meat quality part of this type of meat. The bed fillets with white stripping have higher cooking loss, lower in the marinade pickup, and reduced tenderness, with could be due to degeneration of the muscle fiber. Let's see the defects of the effects of the white stripping on meat qualities. Here they show the percentage of the white stripping that can see. SBY is mean standard breast yield, and HBY is mean high breast yield. When in the total, if the total is 100%. If it's a standard breast yield, it will be classified into moderate. Only 7.4%, and it will see for the severe 2.6%. And if the group of high breast yield, it will be detected moderate, 11.3%, and for the severe we will detect about 3.9%. That is mean high body weight, high breast yield will increase the percentage that can observe moderate and severe. When we see in the histology pictures, the picture A is the normal, B is moderate, and C is severe. This one they take a sample to see how it look like of muscle cells, and for the normal one is we can see the cells quite close together and surrounding with the normals of endomysium. When you see the white line around the muscle cell, we call here endomysium. The big one we call perimysiums. When we see B and C, it will be a smaller size of muscle areas, and it's quite thicker of the endomysium and perimysiums. I did not take the picture that the staining of collagen of the muscle. They use a technique of mass synchronochrome. It will be detects of the blue of the collagen, blue line of the collagens inside the severe and moderate more than the normal one. So it means it's quite high of the collagen content inside the muscle. That's why it will make the meat becomes of the less of tenderness. And here's also the same paper from Carvalho et al. They study in Turkey. Turkey also have these problems. That the previous one is also from in Turkey meat. When they using the program to measure about the number and fiber areas perimeters, diameter, endomysium thickness, they found that it have the effects on the muscle fibers, perimeter, diameters, endomysium thickness. And we can see that severe and moderate and severe high of muscle areas also is high in the higher in perimeters, diameters, and also endomysium thickness. than the normal one. For the chemical compositions, they measure in protein, lipids, moisture, and cholesterol. They found when they classify in three levels, it will be effects on protein and ash. In proteins, moderate and severe has lower in the protein percentage. For the collagen and sarcomere. For the collagens, its effects on the total collagens and insoluble collagens. It means if it have more of collagens, and especially in soluble collagen, it will be more less tenderness, or we call tautness. The moderate and severe has the higher total collagen and insoluble collagen than the normal. And this one is in the boilers. The study from Patexia since 2013. They divide into normal, moderate, and severe, and they found that when classified, it was influence on the pH, on A star, B star, color values, and also in the cooking loss. Especially the pH of severe is quite higher. We call the highest in the pH, and the parameter that we quite seriously is the cooking loss. Severe has the highest of cooking loss, and meanwhile it have the lowest in the shear force value. That is tender. That is might be from when we see the white lines on the chickens, is including of the fat parts, and also and also with the connective tissue. Fat part will also make the animals will, when we chewing, it will have some juices from fat like this. And from the study of Patexia et al. 2014 for the chemical compositions is have the effects on total protein, intramuscular fat, collagens. The severes have less of total proteins and increase in intramuscular fat and collagen than another groups. Come to the molecular technology that they try to using to find the group of the genes. So they use the EQTL for mappings on the with the tray. White strippings is have the EQTL that we call candidate genes, including these genes in the represents in the tables. All the genes was mapping in EQTL that relate to the white strippings. And also the RNA sequencing studies. They use RNA isolation to make RNA sequencings. In this study, they use the sample from normal and white stripping for RNA sequencings. Here is a top up regulate and down regulate of the genes that relate to the white strippings. So you can see here all the genes was listed here. And this one they groupings that they have many genes that related to many pathway. Some like angiogenesis, some is like for the blood vessel development or anatomical structure developments, and many genes are reported in each pathway. So which one we should select for study? We should select the gene that related to the trait that do interesting. And this one, the top of DE genes annotated as uncharacterized proteins in the white stripping effects on the white stripping affected in the boilers. All the proteins are listed in the tables. Okay, I will go fastly because according I see some times might be nearly finished. So the factors on white stripping, they have many factors. For example, the feed. The feed might be effects on the white stripping. For example, low and high energy diet. They found that high energy diets will increase in the percentage of degree of white stripping. And the gender is also effects on white strippings, but not really too much, because when we consider there no significant between the genders. It also affects on white stripping. If we see in this table, 34 days will have more of the normal because it's smaller size. And when we increase the age for the 48 day, it will increase of the white stripping level, and also will have including in woody-based problem too. For the growth, the animal that high of the growth of animals will occur of the degree of white strippings increasing. For the white strippings study in Thailand, this is my study that I collect some samples. We compare between three line of chicken breed. They ask not say the specific breed, just a secret, line A, line B, line C. We found that line B have more of level 3 that we detect, and more of level 2, and that have some problems. And this one is according to the breed, might be effects on white stripping too. And this is some of histology of white stripping in our study. We classify white stripping according to Kuttapat study. We divide in 4 levels. We will see that line A, B, C. We have more. We can see more of effects of the collagen areas here and fat area here, and the difference of the muscle size when we compare with the level 2. If we see level 3 is more defects when we see in histology. And this one we using mesenchyme to staining for to see the collagen. We see that more collagens. We see the blue line. We can see is can be detected in the higher level. For example, level 3 and level 2. Okay, thank you for your attention. This just is quite for take it finish in the time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ann, for such interesting presentation. Yeah, there's already 2 participants that raise their hand. Yeah, a question. There's a discussion. There's the first from Teguh Azira, and then the second one from Teguh Alfiansa. And Dr. Ann, do you prefer to asking one by one or answer one by one, or we collect the question?
You can ask
one by one. Okay, please, Teguh Azira Perkasa for the first question, and then continue with Teguh, ya. Teguh M. Alfiansa. Please, Teguh.
Okay, thank you, Sir Edith, for the opportunity to asking about the topic that Dr. Ann. Yeah, I think this is the amazing presentation, and this is new for me, right? As you mentioned before, that right now chicken, the average body weight of the chicken. The average body of the chicken right now is increasing. Yeah, as you mentioned before, we can get the weight 2 until 3 kilogram in 5 weeks, right? So in my first question, that for your information first, that I was intern in some company, and I'm looking for the management of the broiler chicken, and I see the case that right now chicken can grow faster, can achieve the average body weight in 2 until 3 kilograms in 1 month. But unfortunately, with this plus, this is like a plus, right? But the chicken is the antibody. The chicken, the antibody, and the immunity of the chicken cannot survive. Right? They easily to death. So is this case that connect with the white strip or not? So what your opinion about I said before? That's the first question. And the second question that I want to ask you is, what treatment management for the white stripping to reduce the white stripping itself? Because we know that the white stripping is some problem to the chicken. Because their hard struggle, right? Because there is so many fats in their muscle. And then third question is, I cannot get the point. Is what is the impact of us in white stripping? Maybe just like that. Thank you, Dr. Ann.
Again, please, for the number 3, third questions.
The third question is, what is the impact of us, like people with welfare in white stripping? Is that the impact when we the impact of the white stripping?
Okay, impact of white stripping, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the first one that you asked about the more of animal death from in the industry that might be related of white stripping or not. According to the boilers is a type of animals that quite easily to not resistant to the stress, and it will be easily to death. Then we get some things that will effects on them. But for white stripping is not related to the animal death.
Oh. Okay.
Some of animals in our countries also dead, but from another they shock from environment. Like some people make a loud noise, they will shock. But for white stripping, the animals go is a normal one. It's a normal go normal, and we can detect when we slaughter. As you know, we can see the white strippings levels after they slaughter. They will see inside what will happen with the animals. That's why we try to use some molecular technique to select the animal that will make this defect and try to find the genes that will affect. The second questions. This is have the treatment, any treatment to solve this problem, right?
Yep.
Okay. They have, as I see or observe in many research. First one, we try to make a new formula for the formula feed for the chicken that they believe that is from some nutrient that might be effects on the animals. They try to use some of proteins or some of study they report. I'm not sure that is according to the selenium or not. But there has to cook that they have some question. They might be should set the new formula for the chickens. And the second group, they think might be because according to the animals are fast growing and they try to think that it's might be from the genetics. That they will using the molecular technique to see the genes that have the reals of the role in the pathway that will be effects on the white stripping. So if they complete this one and we know this is might be the candidate gene for white stripping, we can select it out in the grandparent stock. Okay, we will use this gene. And for the third question, the impact of the white stripping is, of course, is have the impacts on the appearance. When we go for the shop and to buy, we see the defects. We almost of the consumer not prefer to buy the meat that a lot of fat. So they have to sell to another product. Okay, and might be effects on the meat quality in terms of, as you see in the table, proteins, fat, and collagen, like this. Okay.
Thank you for the answer, Dr. An. But I still don't get it, the point in the question number one that I don't have your opinion about. Yeah, this not connect with the strip, with the white strip, right? But what is your opinion with the mindset of the people, especially the smallholder of the broiler, the smallholder in broiler? They mindset always get a platinum DOC, because there is a three DOC, silver, gold, and platinum, and I think the platinum one is easy to death, right? They're not resistant about how about you? How about your opinion about that? the silver, gold, and platinum DOC.
Hello, Dr. There is no sound at all?
Hello.
Yes.
Again, I didn't catch your point.
We cannot hear your voice clearly, Dr. N.
Yes. It's some of a noisy from these questions.
Okay, it's better. Okay, can you get the point of Teguh regarding the difference of the what we call grade of the DOC on white stripping, platinum or something like that? In the short answers. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Is it, what is his point?
The difference in the grade of the DOC on the case of white stripping in terms of smallholder farmers. Is it like that, Teguh? Or
No. I mean, what is your opinion about, as you mentioned before that right now, the chicken can get easily faster grow, right? In 2 until 3 kilogram in 5 weeks. So, many people, especially the small hoarder, who is the plasma, the farmer of the broiler chicken, they always, the mindset always think about, I should get a DOC in the platinum grade, right? The platinum grade, and because the platinum grade of the DOC is more faster grow than the silver and the gold. But I think in the platinum DOC is also not resistant and easily to death, right? So I think the best DOC is gold. And what is your opinion about the why the silver, gold, and platinum, and the platinum one is easily to death? And what's the why the platinum is easily to death? And because of the DNA or RNA, and I don't know. Please give your opinion about it. Thank you, Dr. Ana.
Do you mean the study of proteomic RNA like this?
No, I mean, what is the causes why the platinum grade is easily to death? The DOC. Yeah, the grade platinum DOC on broiler chicken.
What is platinum? Could
I think it's not different. Yeah, there is probably in Indonesia there is some grade of the DOC, but it's quite different in Thailand probably. So perhaps Dr. An also cannot imagine the difference on the DOC grade. I think Teguh quite different. I think here. So Dr. An cannot get the point about it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe okay. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
The last question, there is a question from the Ingrid in the chat room. So, before to the question to Teguh, yeah, for the last question from Teguh, is there any health effect on the human when they are consumed in the long terms of white strip chicken? Is there any health let's say on human health if human consumes more white strip breast chicken, let's say, because there's only higher in fat content, isn't it? So is it some disease or something on human health in the long terms if we are consume it in the long term? Thank you.
When we consume breast meat, we just prefer the meat that less of fat, right? If we think about the breast meat, it will be less of fat. But in case if they have the high high level of white stripping, it means it will get also higher of fat contents. So it might be effect on the meat that will have high in fat percentage. But when we should see in the details of fatty acid components, if it's have high fat, but it in terms of unsaturated acid that we think is good for health, is okay. But now in terms of fat, I didn't see the study that that's focused on the fatty acid. They just only determine only fat, and if we see more fat is not good for our health. And for the eating qualities, it will have less of good eating quality when you want to eat, and I mean you not enjoy to eat, or it will be more of more chewy, and it have more of toughness. That is happen with white stripping meat. This is the problems that will have effects on the peoples. Let's see some more study that they report about the fatty acids. This is should consider for the fatty acid component in the white stripping meat chickens.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ann. The English already what we call satisfied with your answer. And then the question from Teku. Please, Teku.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Edit. Let me introduce myself. My name is Teku from IPB University, and I would like to ask you some question about this white stripping. Is there any correlation between the white stripping with the size of the chicken body, and is there possible this white stripping occurs on the other part of the chicken except the chicken breast? And the last question, is there any influence or effect at the market price for this white stripping meat? Because I think it's quite similar with the marbling in the red meat, this white stripping. This white stripping, and at the in the red meat, the marbling is causing the high price. Maybe that's it. Thank you.
The first question. Sorry for the first question. I got the last point of your question. So, ask the first questions again, please.
Okay. The correlation, is there any correlation between the white stripping and the size of the chicken body?
For the white strippings with the size correlation with the white stripping, if they decrease the size of the chickens, it will have less of the percentage of white stripping that observed in the breast meat. But why we still produce the high size or increase the size of chickens? Because almost the boiler meat we export to like EU, they eat the big size of the breast. That's why we have to increase the size, and we detect more of white stripping in the breast meat. And what they do, when they detect, they used to go to another step for processing in another kind of product like a nugget, or use in term of marinate meat or take in another product like put with like KFC, something like it that you cannot observe. Okay, and they avoid to sell this kind of meat in terms of the fresh meat to export to another country. And for the second one, for the price for the price of the chicken that we found that for is that is white stripping is different from the beef. Beef is high morbid fat, is had more higher of value, right? But in white stripping, people not famous to eat more of fat in the breast meat. It's like it's a trend of the consumer. When they eat the breast meat, they just think they use only they prefer to eat lean meat, no fat like this. Or people think that so the price is not higher when we compare. It's not the same trend with the beef meat.
Okay, I think it's enough, yeah, Teguh, yeah. Question. Perhaps in short answer, Dr. Ann. This is the last question from Rafida from Malaysia, National File. Does the fast growth or fast rate of weight increasing effect of health of the chickens? That's the last question from in this station. Does the fast rate of weight increase affect the health of the chicken? That's the question.
Fast rate of weight increasing effect of health of the chickens.
Fast growth of chicken can have a negative impact on the health of the chicken?
For my idea, I think almost the fast rate of animals is will be have the different health when the animals in the slowing the growth rate. When we compare, for example, Thai native chicken and broiler. Thai native chicken higher in the immunities and they more resistant of the disease than the broiler that have high of the growth rate and high of the weight, of course, from my idea.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ann. I hope it's already answered the question. And then we are already in the end of the session, Dr. Ann. Thank you very much for such a nice and interesting presentation and also a fruitful discussion. And then we are going to and before we end up the session, we would like to ask Dr. Ma'ruf Tafsin to deliver or to submit the certificate of appreciation. Please committed to show the certificate of appreciation for Dr. Ann. Already seen on the picture on the Zoom screen, Dr. Ann?
Okay, I see.
Okay, please, Dr. Ma'ruf, you can present this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Ann.
Okay, thank you, Pak Edit. Dr. Archara Khayan, on behalf of committee, we say thank you very much for your presentation, nice presentation, I think, about meat quality of broiler chicken. Once again, I want to say thank you. Kopung ka. Thank you.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Dr. Ma'ruf.
To have as a guest speaking in this course again.
Okay.
And we are waiting for the offline session actually. Perhaps next year we can do an offline session so we can come to our campus. Yeah, we do hope so. Okay, committee. Before we leave, please take a picture of us in this session. Everyone, please turn on the video.
Okay, we have 5.
Committee,
The first screen, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the second screen, 1, 2, 3. The third screen, 1, 2, 3. The fourth screen, 1, 2, 3. And the last screen, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Pak Edit.
Thank you, Dr. Ann, again. Thank you so much,
Dr. Ann.
also Dr. Ma'ruf. Thank you very much, and also all participants. We are going to the next session. Yeah, me as moderators, I do apologize if there is something mistaken during this, during me myself handling this consecutive session. Yeah, the room will be hands to Pak Baihaki. Please, Pak Baihaki, we do apologize for the late 10-15 minutes. Please, Pak Baihaki. Thank you. All participants, see you then. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, everyone, can we start now? Yeah, directly, yeah, because we are too late, I think, yeah. It should be 4 o'clock, but right now it's 3:30 to 5, I mean. Okay, anyway, we should start, yeah, for the last session for today, yeah. I hope, even though this is the last but not least, yeah. Before I start, or before we start, yeah, I will invite Dr. Mohammed Tayyab. Are you there? Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, good afternoon. Yeah. Welcome back in this summer course program, joining program between IBB University and University of Sumatera Utara. My name is Muhammad Baihaki, lecturer in Faculty of Animal Science, IBB University. And in this session, I'm going to be your moderator for this lecture session. I'm glad to be with you here. In this last lecture session, we will have a very nice topic, I think, yeah. The topic is about recombinant enzyme for poultry and should be given by Dr. Mohammed Tayyab, yeah. However, unfortunately, because the internet issues, yeah, at his place now, so that the lecture will be done using video recording. Yeah, so Dr. Tayyab already have prepared very well 2 videos for us. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Dr. Tayyab. And then after we watch the video, yeah, we will continue for the question and answer session as usual. And then everybody who want to ask something, you can chat or you can write down in chat room, or directly you can raise your hand and then directly to ask to him. Okay, before we continue to watch the videos, yeah, allow me to introduce about him briefly. Please, committee, to share the CV screen, yeah. Please to into the slide, to the slideshow mode. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Mohammed Tayyab. May I call you Dr. Tayyab? Is it okay? I hope, yeah. He is associate professor in Institute of Biochemistry and Biotechnology, University of Veterinary and Animal Science in Pakistan. And you can write down, this is his email, yeah, Mohammed Tayyab, UFES, I think abbreviation for University of Vet and Animal Science. His field specialization is in biochemistry, specifically in proteomics and also genomics, and then more focus on first production and characterization of recombinant protein, and secondly, 3-dimensional structure analysis of recombinant protein, and the third is in bioinformatic analysis of gene and protein. Okay, next slide. Yeah, Dr. Tayyab has completed his bachelor's degree in Bahuddin Zakaria University, Multan, in subject on botany, zoology, and chemistry.
Then he completed his Master of Philosophy, I think, degree in Department of Chemistry in Biochemistry, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, Pakistan. Then he continued to finish his PhD in School of Biological Science, University of Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan, also in biochemistry subject. Next slide, please. Dr. Tayyab has long experience in teaching and researching, more than 11 years doing his duties. He also has many publications as well, around 70 publications in national and also in international journal, and 38 in conference presentation. He also has submitted 26 of sequence or submission to DNA or protein data bank. That was great, I think, So, yes, next slide. Okay, thank you very much for committee. Then we will continue to watch the two videos, about his lectures, But before we continue, let me to remind the audience, please to turn your camera on, and also when you have any question, you can write down the question in the chat box, or later in Q&A session, you can raise hand and ask directly to Dr. Tayyab. Without any further ado, please committee to share the videos.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So first of all, I am thankful to the organizing committee for inviting me for the delivery of lecture. So I am Dr. Muhammad Tayyab, serving as Associate Professor in the Institute of Biochemistry and Biotechnology, University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Lahore. And today I am going to talk about recombinant enzymes for poultry. So this is actually the topic. So before going toward the topic, I would like to share actually this is actually the University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Lahore view. And now we are moving towards actually the recombinant enzymes for poultry. So if we focus on the topic, we can divide actually this topic into three parts. Number one, poultry. Number two, enzymes, and number three, recombinant DNA technology, which is actually a tool for the production of recombinant proteins. So here I have actually the division that how we can deal with this topic. Like the first one is poultry and poultry sector. Number two, why enzymes? And number three, which enzymes are actually important for poultry feed industry? Then the second part is actually the recombinant DNA technology. What is this technology? And how, what is actually the methodology which is being followed for the production of recombinant enzymes? Then production of enzymes and its characterization. And then the last point will be the utilization of these characterized enzymes in the poultry industry. And finally, there will be actually the concluding remarks. And we will actually compile up the contents that how recombinant DNA technology is being utilized for the production of recombinant enzymes, and how these enzymes are being utilized in the poultry feed industry for the uplift of poultry. Okay, let's start with the poultry sector. Poultry sector is Pakistan, that is actually the fast growing industry of Pakistan that is committed to provide high value protein to the nation. Then the major constraints and major issues which are being faced by the poultry industry, that is actually the feed. Feed contributes almost 80%, 77 to 80% of the total cost of poultry. And that means we need to focus on the preparation and ingredients of feed. So the availability of poultry at cheaper rate. We have actually two possibilities. One is actually animal-based feed, and the second one is plant-based feed. Animal-based feed, that is a little bit expensive, and secondly, there are some ethical issues when you are going to utilize animal materials as a part of feed. Then if you talk about plant-based feed, that is relatively cheaper, and in this case basically the ingredients are coming from plant side like legumes, corns and seeds. But the issue when we are going to utilize the plant-based components as a part of feed, that is actually this feed will have actually a variety of compounds like cellulose, xylon, proteins and phytate. These are complex structures which are actually the part of plant ingredients which are coming from plant side. The issue is these compounds can give essential elements for the growth of the bird. But the thing is, the poultry doesn't have actually the enzymes for the degradation of cellulose, xylon, and phytate. No doubt a small quantity of proteases are present, but due to the absence of enzyme or low quantity of enzyme, it is not possible for the poultry to digest these complex structures completely. So this means there is need to supplement the feed with these enzymes. And what will be the benefit of utilization of enzymes? That is actually number one, enzymes are environment friendly. So there will be no environmental pollution with the utilization of enzymes. Number two, this will improve the efficiency of feed utilization of the bird. Number three, it will improve the poultry bird growth. So these are a few important points which are important for the enhanced growth of poultry bird. So finally, the solution is actually addition of enzymes, supplementation of enzymes to the poultry feed. And then the total feed production approximately that is equivalent to 6 million tons per annum in Pakistan, and the enzyme requirement is around 2,500 to 15,000 units per kg. It actually depends on enzyme to enzyme, and hundreds of million rupees are being spent for the import of these enzymes to the Pakistan. So this means domestic production of these enzymes will reduce the huge foreign exchange which is being utilized for the import of these enzymes. So, and next thing is, what are actually the enzymes which are important for the poultry feed industry? So here I have a few of those. Number one, phytase. Phytase is actually the enzyme which is actually going to utilize phytate as substrate. Second enzyme is cellulase, which can break down the cellulose. Then xylonase, which can cleave the xylon. And then protease, which can hydrolyze the proteins. In addition to these enzymes, amylase and some other enzymes are also being utilized. So let's talk about the function of these enzymes, and then we will move towards the next part. So first of all, we need to focus on phytate and phytase. Phytate is actually a compound. You can see actually the structure of phytate here. This is actually a 6-carbon sugar in which all the carbons are connected with a phosphate. You can see a phosphate group is present on all the carbons. So this 6-phosphate containing inositol sugar, that is called inositol hexaphosphate. Its alternative names are phytate or phytic acid. So this is actually the structure of phytate. And the second part was phytase. Phytase is an enzyme which is actually responsible for the breakdown of phytate to inositol and free phosphorus. Free phosphorus is important for the growth of bird. So phytate and phytic acid is the storage form of phosphorus in many plants. Plants can utilize phytate because these have actually the phytase. But in case of poultry, that bird is unable to digest phytate due to the absence of enzyme. And one more thing about the phytate, this is having 6-phosphate, and phosphate is having negative charge. So this negatively charged molecule can trap the positively charged elements. So that's why this is considered as anti-nutritional compound. So finally, this phytate is being converted into inositol and free phosphorus in the presence of phytase. Similarly, the second major component, which is the part of plant-based feed, that is cellulose. So cellulose is actually, you can say that is a polysaccharide, which is actually comprises of beta glucose. Beta D-glucopyranose is actually the name of the repeating unit here in this case. And these units are connected with each other via beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage. This means there will be a number of, might be hundreds of beta D-glucopyranose molecules. This is actually the structure of one beta D-glucopyranose, and these are connected with each other via beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage. So cellulose is going to be converted to its basic component, that is glucose, in the presence of cellulase, because cellulase is having ability to cleave this beta-1,4 linkage, which is responsible for the connection of these two repeating units. So finally, due to the activity of cellulase, this cellulose can be hydrolyzed to simple sugar, that is glucose. Then next one is xylan and xylanase. Xylan is actually a 5-carbon beta sugar, and that is the repeating unit in the structure of xylan. Xylose is the repeating unit, sorry. So these xylose molecules are connected with each other via beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage, and this beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage of xylan is going to be hydrolyzed in the presence of xylanase, and this xylanase that results in the conversion of xylan to xylose, and beta-xylose is actually the 5-carbon sugar. Beta, due to it, the hydroxyl group around the anomeric carbon. So, and the fourth enzyme, that is actually the protease. Proteases are enzymes which are responsible for the breakdown of proteins. You can see, if you talk about a protein is a polypeptide, in which a number of amino acids are connected with each other via peptide bond. So this long chain of amino acids connected with each other via peptide bond, that is called a polypeptide or a protein. So special variety of enzymes which can cleave the peptide linkage, these are known as proteases, and due to the action of exo and endoproteases, finally you can have the conversion of this polypeptide to simple amino acids. So this means in the presence of phytase, cellulase, xylanase and protease, these complex structures are going to be converted into simple one, like free phosphorus, small monomeric sugars and amino acids. These can be absorbed in the body of the bird and can contribute in the growth of the bird. So in the absence of enzymes, the complex structures, these are not going to be hydrolyzed and are being excreted from the body in undigested form with the manure. While in the presence of enzymes, these simple monomeric components are being absorbed and these are being utilized for the growth of poultry bird. So these simple components are going to add actually the energy. These can be used as a source of energy or for the growth of the bird. Then why we need thermostable enzymes? Thermostable enzymes are required in the poultry feed industry because there is actually a step called feed pelletization. That is the last step in the preparation of feed. In this step, basically, we need to treat the feed at higher temperature for a few seconds. So at 80 to 90 degrees Celsius for a few seconds, at this temperature, the mesophilic enzymes, those are going to be denatured. So this means we need thermostable oil, which was isolated from Japan, and its genome has been sequenced. So up till now, we have discussed actually about the poultry and poultry sector. We have discussed that why we need enzymes for poultry and which of the enzymes are important for the growth of the poultry part. So we have completed this part of our lecture. Now we are moving toward the recombinant DNA technology for the production of recombinant enzymes. So here we have actually the overall strategy. So okay, so due to some signal issue, I got disconnected. So anyway, we were talking about recombinant DNA technology, and recombinant DNA technology has actually a variety of steps. So I'm going to discuss briefly about these steps. Like there will be actually the isolation of genomic DNA in the first step. So genomic DNA of Thermotoga noctiphila was utilized as a template for the amplification of a variety of genes. So the PCR amplification was done for the selected genes. We have discussed actually the genes of various enzymes. And the amplified PCR product was utilized for the ligation of these genes in the cloning vector, that is PTG57RT. This is a cloning vector, and very easily we can clone our gene of interest in the cloning vector PTG57RT by K-cloning. So once your gene of interest has been ligated in this vector, we can transfer this vector, recombinant vector, to cells like BH5 alpha cells, and we can actually screen on the basis of blue-white screening. And then the plasmid isolation and restriction analysis will be done in order to confirm the presence of gene of interest in the vector. Then the gene can be transferred from the cloning vector to the expression vector, which is already restricted with the same restriction enzymes. And finally, we will have actually the recombinant expression vector. And then this recombinant expression vector can be utilized for the transformation of expression cells like BL21 Codon plus, which can be actually transformed with this recombinant vector. And finally, you can have the positive clones. These clones will be utilized for the production of recombinant protein. And then that recombinant protein can be purified by column chromatography, and that can be utilized for the characterization purposes. And ultimately, the produced enzyme, it can be utilized in order to supplement the poultry feed with this enzyme. So after the production of the enzymes, now we have actually completed a discussion about the recombinant DNA technology and the production of enzymes by this technology. So next step is the characterization of enzymes. Characterization is actually an important component because until and unless we don't know the characteristics of enzymes, it is not possible to claim the characteristics of that enzymes and to claim that enzyme that this is important. So next step is characterization of enzymes. So let's move toward the characterization of these enzymes one by one. Okay. So characterization of recombinant phytase. So this phytase was actually 70.9 kDa protein, and you can see here the purified protein in the lane 4. Then this purified protein was utilized in order to observe the optimal temperature, and from this experiment it was found that 80 degrees Celsius was found to be the optimal temperature for the activity of this enzyme. Similarly, thermostability studies for phytase, it shows that the enzyme was found thermostable at when it was incubated at 80 degrees Celsius, it showed greater than 85% residual activity after an incubation of 1.5 hours at 80 degrees Celsius. In the same way, it showed its optimal activity at pH between 6 to 7. This enzyme was metal dependent as you can see here in the presence of PDK, it completely loses its activity. And iron was found to be, ferric was found to be the metal ion, which is important for the activity of this enzyme. Similarly, kinetic studies was also examined for this enzyme. Then the characterization of recombinant cellulase. This cellulase was actually 39 kDa protein. You can see the purified protein here in fourth lane. Then its optimal temperature was found at 90 degrees Celsius. Then optimal, its thermostability studies shows that it can have greater than 70% activity after an incubation of 1.67 hours at 80 degrees Celsius. Then showed optimal activity at pH 4. Cobalt was required for the activity of this enzyme. In the presence of detergent, it shows a decline in activity, and kinetic studies was also performed. Characterization of recombinant xylulase. Xylulase was found 36 kDa protein, and it was optimally active at 90 degrees Celsius. Optimal pH was 7. This is not a metal dependent enzyme, but however, presence of manganese or cobalt shows increasing impact on the activity of this enzyme. Similarly, in the presence of ketone X100, it shows a boosting impact on the activity of this enzyme. Again, the kinetic studies was also examined for this xylulase. This protease, this was 36 kDa protein. It showed its optimal activity at 60 degrees Celsius. Optimal pH was recorded as 9, and it was not metal dependent enzyme. Similarly, twin 20, twin 80, ionic and non-ionic detergent, those are not going to put some significant impact on the activity of this enzyme. And one more thing, the important thing, this protease was from Geobacillus SPS4S. This was not from Thermatogan amphiphila. So with this discussion, we have actually produced recombinant proteins, and then finally we have characterized these enzymes. Now the next step is to utilize these enzymes in order to explore their impact on the poultry growth. So let's move towards the last part of this presentation, that is poultry trials. So poultry trials were conducted under the control conditions, and these conditions are actually the same as required in the industry. And the trials were performed for a period of 4 weeks. So data was recorded, and the recorded data was analyzed with the SPSS software. So poultry trials actually up till now we have examined the impact of each of the enzymes separately on the growth of poultry birds. So in each case we have actually selected 150 birds, and these 150 birds were divided into 5 groups. Group A, B, C, D, and E. These were 5 groups. So group A was, and each of the group was having 30 birds. So group A was acting as a negative control. Group E was served as a positive control. And B, C, and D, these 3 groups are actually the treatments in which we are going to provide a different concentration of enzyme, like for example 2500 units per kg, 5000 units per kg, or 7500 units per kg. While group E was supplemented with the concentration that is being utilized commercially in the industry. So let's move towards the impact of the enzymes on the poultry weight gain. So we can see here, when we are going to make a comparison of weight gain data in week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can see actually in the last week, there was 1,814 grams. That is the weight of bird in case of negative control. This 1814 gram is going to be increased to 1954 gram. So you can see a clear impact is being observed when the feed was supplemented with 7,500 national units of protease. So finally, this means a positive impact has been observed with the supplementation of feed with the protease. Similarly, in case of cellulase, we can see when the feed was supplemented with the cellulase, locally produced cellulase, you can see in the negative control, the weight gain in case of 5th week, at the end of 5th week was 2,015 gram. And when we make a comparative analysis of this with the feed supplemented with the locally produced the cellulase, you can see the weight gain was 2,165 grams. So this means a clear increase in weight gain is being observed here. In the same way, in case of phytase, the control control was having 999 grams weight after at the end of 5th week, and that is actually quite less as compared to 1,123 grams when the feed was supplemented with the 1,500 international units of phytase. And lastly, in case of xylanase, you can see at the end of 5th week, the weight gain was 1,410 grams in case of negative control. That is quite low as compared to 1,681 grams when this feed was supplemented with the 2,000 international units per kg of feed. And that is comparable with the positive control as well. So the data shown here was actually the impact of individual enzymes on poultry bird growth. And now we are actually planning to examine the impact of a combined mixture of these enzymes on the poultry bird. Definitely this will be more impact will be observed on the weight gain of the poultry birds. So finally, the outcomes of this work, that the supplementation of poultry feed with the locally produced enzymes showed a significant impact on weight gain of poultry birds, and thus the locally produced enzymes will be utilized as a mixture for the supplementation for the fulfillment of industrial demand of Pakistan in future, inshallah. So this means recombinant DNA technology that is being utilized as a tool for the production of enzymes, and these enzymes are being utilized for the supplementation of poultry feed. And in the presence of enzymes, the complex structures which are not being utilized in the absence of enzymes, those are being hydrolyzed in the presence of enzymes, and those are putting a positive impact on the growth of poultry birds. So we can call this enzyme miracle, that day-old poultry broiler chicks, those are actually getting a huge weight gain when the feed is being supplemented with a mixture of enzymes, and that the weight gain is quite high as compared to the bird that is being fed on the feed which is without enzymes. So here I am going to provide you some references where you can get the data and detailed methodology. These papers are available on internet, and if somebody is willing to have, you can contact me. I can provide you the full length references as well. So thank you for your attention, and I'm available if you have some queries and questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Committee, on behalf of Dr. Kayap. Yeah, I think that was such a fundamental, informative, and also interesting topic, I think, yeah. And we move to the question and answer session, and we already have 3.
Thank you very much.
Okay, please, Dr. Raya. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I received actually two questions. So first question, that was actually why there is need to pelletization of the feed. So thing is that, the poultry bird is having a beak and it has to pick its feed from the pot or from ground. So the thing is, if the feed is in the powder form, so it will be difficult for the bird to pick that feed. So this is actually the basic reason that we have to convert this feed, powdered feed, in the form of pellet. So it will be easy for the bird to pick the pellet. The pelletization, the last step, is actually important because the powder has to be converted into pellet form. And the thing is, we need some moisture, and that is why we are going to provide a heat treatment of a few seconds at 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. So this is the basic reason that why we need thermostable enzymes and why there is need of pelletization. Then second question, that is actually, is there any other way to produce the enzyme? Basically, there are two different strategies for the production of enzymes. Number one, that is fermentation technology. And the second one is recombinant DNA technology. Each of these having its advantages. Like, for example, in case of fermentation technology, we are going to utilize the wild type of microbe for the production of the enzyme. But the thing is that microbe can produce enzyme in a limited amount as per its requirement. But if you are going to focus on recombinant DNA technology, in this case, we are actually going to transfer the same gene that is present in the parent strain that is being utilized for the production of desired amount of the required enzyme or protein. Number two, the important thing that, like, for example, if we are talking about the thermostable enzyme, definitely the source will be some thermophile. And the thermophile which was selected here for this study, that was Thermotoga naphthophila, that is anaerobic thermophile, that its optimal growth temperature is like 100 degrees Celsius. So if we are going to follow the fermentation technology for the production of enzyme, it will be difficult to maintain 100 degrees Celsius for the production of tons of enzyme. So we need a large, sort of resources for the maintenance of 100 degrees Celsius for different batches of fermentation batches for the production of required enzyme. But if we are going to take the gene of that microbe and to ligate in the expression vector, and then we are going to transform the BL21 codon plus cells, the same gene can give same product at 37 degrees Celsius. And interestingly, here in Pakistan, we have approximately 40 degrees Celsius and average temperature, almost in 9 to 10 months here in Pakistan. So the same protein is being produced at desired level at room temperature. So this is the basic reason that we prefer recombinant DNA technology for the production of thermostable enzymes. Okay, then I need to check the next one.
Any question from Rafida from Malaysia? How about the cost?
Okay. During pelting, the denaturation of enzyme will happen and the cost of enzyme is very expensive. So this is actually the reason that we are not going to focus on mesophilic enzymes. Thermostable enzymes are actually the enzymes which can tolerate this high temperature of 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. The enzymes which are coming from Thermotoga naphthophila, these are stable at 80 degrees Celsius, 80 to 90 degrees Celsius for more than 1.5 hours. And we need just the treatment, heat treatment for a few seconds. So this means these enzymes will remain stable and active even after the treatment of this heat treatment. So this is the basic reason that why we focus on thermostable enzymes, because those are not going to denature.
From Malaysia, please, Dr. Tayyab, Rafidah Raja.
G, any questions from anyone?
Yeah. How much is the bill of protein from 1 liter of culture of expression?
Actually, we have performed experiments at laboratory scale right now, because at laboratory scale we have many days for the production of enzyme which was required for poultry trials. That was actually from like 16 to 20 liters, and this was done in various batches. But when you are going to transfer or when you are willing to produce this enzyme for industry, definitely we have to optimize the conditions by using some fermenter so that we can have the huge quantity of the enzymes. So this will actually another project so that we can have actually the planning and the condition optimization for the production of these enzymes at industrial scale. And we need collaboration, for to various research institutes where they are having actually the large fermenters, might be 1,000-liter fermenters.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question that you don't answer yet? Or any comment or any feedback from the people who asked something? From Haslina, do you have? Okay, I think we have. Okay, from Ratiga, okay, thank you. And then from Harun, do you have any comment or feedback? It's enough, I think, yeah. So from Naufal, okay. I think it's okay. And then from Haslina, okay. Okay. So we still have time, maybe 3 or 5 minutes. So if there is no any question, so my question to you, Dr. Tayyab, yeah, is there any, let's say, side effect or negative effect using this kind of recombinant enzymes? Do you have any comment on that?
Okay, yes, sure. Actually, the enzymes are actually protein in nature. So proteins are already working in the body of the bird. So apparently there is actually no side effect, because the enzymes, these are being added, these are being utilized for the supplementation of feed, and via feed this one is going to enter in the body of the bird, and these remain in the digestive tract and can perform their function. Means they are going to convert the complex structures into simple structures, and when the complex compounds are going to be converted like in free phosphorus, like in simple sugars and simple amino acids, these can be absorbed. So once these components are being absorbed, these are being utilized by the poultry bird for getting energy, or for the growth of a bird, like for example phosphorus that is being utilized for the growth, the glucose or xylose, which are the end product after breakdown of cellulose or xylem. These are being utilized as a source of energy for the production of energy, and definitely when there will be higher energy level, that will be putting a positive impact on the growth of the bird. And after that, these enzymes can be degraded. So simply there will be no side effect on the on the health of the bird.
Okay, thank you. And we have one person, Pak Cahyo Budiman, please.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bayaki. Dr. Tayyab, sorry. I have one hypothetical question actually. You tried with the purified enzymes, right? Any possible? I don't know. I'm just wondering if you feed the birds with the unpurified one, which will be less costly because we don't need to purify, or even we just feed them with the cells that express the protein. What's going to happen with this hypothetical treatment? Do you have any any guess for this result?
No. Thank you, Jayu. It's nice to see you here. Okay. The thing is, actually, the enzyme, these enzymes were purified so that we can characterize these enzymes. So purification process was important regarding the characterization. And when we are going to utilize these enzymes, or we have utilized these enzymes in the trial, so there is no need to purify these, because purification is actually a costly process. And when we are going to utilize these enzymes, so these will be the crude form. Like, for example, these enzymes will be actually being, we need to actually change the strategy, At the moment, we were dealing with the intracellular enzymes. But when we are going to produce these enzymes for the industry, we will actually change the strategy, and we will like to produce these enzymes as extracellular enzymes. So that will be very simple. We can filter the express protein, or simply by centrifugation, we can separate supernatant soluble part from the insoluble part, and that soluble part will be utilized as a source of enzyme directly to the feed.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tayyab. Unfortunately, time is over, so we have to finish our class for now. And before we close this class, I will invite Dr. Ma'ruf Tafsin to hand the certificate of appreciation from ITB and from University of North Sumatra. Committee, please to have Dr. Ma'ruf.
Okay, so
share the screen, please. Committee, yeah. Okay, Dr. Ma'ruf, please, screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pak Haki. I want to say very, very much thank you to Professor Dr. Muhammad Tayyab for the lecture now. I think it is very important how to increase feed efficiency for poultry or other livestock. Okay. On behalf of committee, we say thank you very much for Professor Muhammad Tayyab for this lecture now in summer course program 2022. Once again, terima kasih. Syukron kasiron. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ma'ruf Tafsin. And then, we have to close for today.
I am thankful. I am thankful to the organizing committee for inviting me to this lecture, and it was a wonderful experience. So I'm highly thankful to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You're welcome. And then, thank you again for Dr. Tayyab, and I hope we can still have a collaboration for the next time.
Inshallah.
So thank you very much for all of RTM for our active discussion. I think even though we have a problem about this internet signal, so I think next time we will have a conversation. Okay, thank you, and then thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Hello, committee. Arman. Hello, Pak Arman. Pak Sarifin.
Yes, Pak Edit.
There is a